Hello, karibu SolidWorks Tanzania. Ni matumaini yangu umekuwa na lessons poa sana zilizopita. So huu ni mwendelezo wa AutoCAD 3D drawings na previously tumeshaangalia kuhusu built-in features za ku come up with a 3D model which is rapid prototyping built-in features like creating a box, a cylinder, etc. Lakini pia tumeona kuhusu modeling commands like the extrude, the loft, the revolve, the sweep, the polysolid, and the press pull. So today we are going forward to solid editing commands. But before we go forward, there is something important to show you. So let's say we have a square from the rectangle command here. Click rectangle command and then we draw a square or rectangle here. And then let's say I draw a rectangle by using lines, like individual lines. Let's say here, washa author mode hapa, author mode on for straight lines. Let's say second point, let's say third point, and let's say this and then here. Escape. So if I come to southwest isometric, and you see this square is considered as an one item. So if I extrude this one, say extrude, select object, this one, and say enter. So I will extrude a 3D solid object. If I come here and say shaded with edges, you will see this is a 3D solid object or feature, right? Okay. So what happens if I let's say I extruded this feature here, right? Let's say I want to extrude this feature. So I'll say extrude and then say select I select this, then that, then that, then that, then say enter. You see what's extruded here. So it's extruding a whole like a surface with a space in between, right? A hollow feature like that, a hollow surface. So why is it like that? It is like that because the lines that were for this rectangle were individual items. They were not connected to one another. So every single line here imekuwa extruded independently. Um, that's why we have a hollow surface like this. What if we want a solid object? Because tunaweza create a complex feature a geometry with individual lines and arcs and curves and cycles, and then we want to extrude a solid object. What happens then? So let me Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. So I am undoing what I did. So what I'll do, there is a command called join, the join command. So just type J and then press enter. And you select all the entities, individual entities that are connected that you want to make them as a single item. So I'll select this line, this line, this line, this line, and this line. Then press enter. Now, if you select this rectangle, you see it is all selected as one item. So when I extrude that, it will be a fully solid 3D feature. So say extrude. So you see now it's extruded solid feature like that, not a hollow surface, because I joined the individual lines to make one entity. Okay? Yeah. So we can also see this. We can also see this from, let's say, we want to revolve. So let me say Control A, then delete on the keyboard, and then let's say we have a top view here like this, and then let's say we have a cycle here. Okay, and then let's say we have lines splitting this cycle, right? And then let's say I have a line to revolve. My revolving line is here to revolve the 3D, let me say trim here. Okay, so let's say I want to revolve this item, this entity here. So if I come to southwest isometric, right, and I say I select object, this one and that one, and I come here, I select revolve, then my first point here, my second point there. So you will see a revolved feature like this. But you see, this is a hollow surface feature that is being revolved, right? And it's because the arc and the line were individual entities from the beginning. So they are revolved independently. That's why I don't have a solid revolve here. Okay? So what if I want a solid revolve? So Control Z, undo. I have been undoing that command. So first I have to join the arc and the line. I have to join them, right? So press J for join, then enter, then select entities. I select this line and this arc, then enter. If you select this entity, it is all selected as a single item. So the revolve here will be a solid revolve, right? So if I say here, I click revolve, and then I say first point, second point, you see, I have a revolved solid feature like that. Okay, the solid feature is revolved like that. Get it? Okay, so I hope you have captured that, the important command called join. Okay, I hope you have captured that. So let's proceed with other solid editing commands. So solid editing commands. So the first command here is called solid union. So what does it do? Huenda umechora a number of entities, subcomponents to make one item, but then you have to join them so that they appear as a single or an individual entity, right? So you can see the items on the left, the green one, you have component one, then component two, but on the right, you have a single component. They were joined by the union command to make one component. So how do we go about it? So let's say we have a top view like this, 2D wireframe. So the 2D wireframe is best for you if you have to draw multiple entities, multiple components on top of one another. So let's say we have a rectangle like that. Let's say we go to southwest isometric, and then we say this item extrude it. Let's say extrude it to there. Okay, let's say I want to put a cycle on top of this box. So I can take a line and draw from this center here to this center here. And then I can take a cycle. I can draw it from this center of this line here to this point here, right? Then I can delete this line. It was just guiding me. Then I can extrude this cycle that is on top of this box and say extrude. So let's say extrude to there, right? Let me say now shaded with edges view like that. You see, I have two components, right? Let's say southwest isometric. So I have the cylinder and the box. They are two individual components. But what if I want to make them one item, one component, one entity? That's where union comes in. So I can paint them differently initially when they are not joined. If I say properties, I can paint this, let's say this is red. I can paint that red, and the other one I can leave it white, right? So if I want to union them, so I'll come at this command up here and click union. Click union. It says here select objects. You can select as many objects as you have. So first object, second object, then press enter. Now the cylinder and the box has been joined, zimekuwa one entity ama one item. Hata nikiselect hapa na nikiclick anywhere, I select this as one item. So I can prove that by saying properties. If I color them, both of them will have one color. You see, one color like that, because they are termed as one object now, one entity, not individual items. Shortcut command for union is UNI. Yes, UNI, uni. Shortcut command for union is uni. So let's say, all right, if I say Control Z and I have as Control Z again, yes, I have my two entities independent. If I want to union them, I can just type UNI, then enter, then select object. This one and that one, then enter. Then I'm right there, and then that's done. Right? I can just say this is yellow like that. let's say yellow, right? And escape. I have it like that. I hope you have captured that. The following command here is called subtract, solely subtract. So what does solely subtract do? Initially, tuliona two items zinaweza kuwa joined, intersected and being unioned into one item. But subtraction ina involve kwamba you have two features intersection, but then you can subtract one of the features, right? To have, let's say, a hollow or an open space between the two components in intersection, right? So let's see. Let me delete this. So let me click this and delete. Let's go back to top view. Imagine I want to create a hollow cylinder. A hollow cylinder of what dimensions? Let's say it has an outer diameter of 50 and an inner diameter of 30. I can create that by press pull command. The press pull command kwa sababu yenyewe inatumia boundary, right? So I can just press pull a hollow cylinder, right? So how do I do that? So select cycle here on the top view. Let's say this is radius is 25, enter. You see it has disappeared. That means it's over the window dimension. So I can just zoom to extend here, it's right here, and then you can zoom in, zoom out, right? And then cycle again, find the center. Let's say the center is here, the center is here, and the radius is 15, enter. Now I can put this in a southwest isometric orientation, and then I can come here and say press pull and select this boundary in between the two cycles, and I can just lift it to the dimension that I want. Let's say this is 100, enter, right? So I can come here and say shaded with edges. So you see I have as my hollow cylinder right there by using the press pull command. I have this hollow cylinder, outer diameter 50, inner diameter 30, right? Okay. But there is another way of creating this by subtracting. So see what I'll do. So let's go back to top view. Let's say top view. Let's go here to 2D wireframe. All right. Now let me draw a cycle. Let's say I have a cycle somewhere here of radius, outer diameter the same. So radius 25, enter. And then I come here, I say isometric view, and then I click this, I click this, I say extrude, and I extrude it by 100, enter. So you see, I have a solid object here that I want to create a hole in between, a hole of 30 diameter, right? So what I'll do, nitachora another cycle on top of this and I will extrude it downward, hata ikipitiliza, hata ikifika mpaka exactly this level ama nikaipitiliza. Na hiyo item inayochora sasa nitaisubtract. Nikisubtract ndo nitabaki na hole. That's where the subtraction command comes, right? So let's say here 2D wireframe. And let me take a cycle again here and find the center of this cycle. So here, sorry, doesn't want me to draw. Let me take a line, draw a line here to here. Yani sumo kuweka cycle pale katikati, so nimechora line, then nitaiweka hapa exactly at this center. Radius is 15, enter. Then I can delete this line. Now I'll just click this and extrude it hata kupitiliza downward because I want to make a hole like that, say shaded with edges, right? So you see I have this inner component. That inner component is for making that hole that I'm looking for, right? This inner component is for making the hole that I'm looking for. Get it? So how do I get it? So I'll subtract this item from this hole, solid cylinder, and I'll have a hole. So what are the procedures? So you come here and you click subtract, and then it says select object. The first object that you select is the object that will stay. You can select as many objects as you have. Unaweza kuta umechora number of subcomponents and the number of other components to be removed. So the first object that you select are the objects that you want to stay. So for here I have just this cylinder. That's the only one I want to stay. I can select as many objects as I want. Then I will click enter. And now after the enter, the second objects that you select are the objects to be subtracted, to be removed. So I click this one and say enter. And then voila, I have the hole like that. Oh yeah? I hope you have captured that. Let's say southwest isometric. Yeah. So let me draw another thing again. So let's say we have top view. Let's say I draw a rectangle like here, and then southwest isometric. Then click this one, extrude. So it to there. Come to 2D wireframe. Just put a line. Let's say a line here to here, and then I'll put a cycle at this center here. Let's say to there, and delete this line, and then yeah. So I can also extrude this. Let's say to there, and then I can come and say shaded with edges. So I want to make the hole. So again, the procedures follows. So what is the shortcut command for subtract? So you just write su. So union is uni, but subtract is su for subtract. Enter, select object that stays. That's the first selection. So this box stays. Enter, select object that is to be removed. This cylinder, enter. There we have it. Voila. Yeah. I hope you captured that. Let's go ahead and see another command. So the other command here is called intersect, intersection, right? So the intersection command, it creates a 3D or a 2D region from selected overlapping solid regions, right? Um, so you can create complex objects by intersection. It captures the middle of it captures the point where the two parts intersect, and it just gives you can see on the description there you have component 1 and component 2, and then they were intersected with the command, and then you have the result on the right there, right? So how do we go about this? So let's say control A, delete. Let's say on a top view, I have like let's say something like this, and then let's say um fillet, F for fillet. Let's say I have to R for radius. Let's say radius is 10. Enter. M for multiple. Let's say here, then here, here, then here, then here, here, and here, then here. Skip. And let's say I have some holes somewhere here, and then let me mirror that. Okay, I can just click points. So mi enter. So let's manually align. Select this, enter. I can select my first point here, my second point there, enter. I can say mi again, mirror, select object. I can select this one and that one, enter. Select my first point here, my second point here, and then enter. Have an object like that. Come here and say solid isometric. Let's say press pull. I press pull this item here. Let's say I press pull to here, right? Now I can draw another entity here to interfere these two components. So I can come here and say 2D wireframe. I can draw a line. Let's say a line here to here, a line that will guide me. And okay, I can draw what okay, let me say delete that. Let me say I draw a line here, let's say here to here, and then let me say I draw a line here, this direction to there, And then okay, let me draw a corner rectangle. Let's say okay, a corner rectangle. Let's say corner rectangle. Let's say goes all this way to here. Okay, a corner rectangle again goes all this way. Corner rectangle again, yes. Here, let's say to here. Let's make trim. Let me trim this. Okay, can't trim. Okay. Right. Okay. Let me see. Let me see how I can do this. Let me delete this. Let me. I just want to create another feature that intersect with this one. And yeah, I can. Sorry. Um, let me draw something like an arc. Let's say an arc from here to here. Sorry. Um, let me say shaded with edges here. All right, I see it. I see my drawing and my delete that. Okay, okay, and I say 2D wireframe. Um, let me draw an arc. And okay, let me draw a spline. And say here. Let me draw a spline. Say there. Okay. Okay, let me draw a 3-point arc. Let's say a 3-point arc from here to here. Remove the ortho mode. Let's say to there. Okay. Okay. Another arc. Let's say line from here, going up here to. Okay. Let me draw. Okay. Let me. Let's say copy. Copy. Where is copy? Copy from here to here. Okay. Yeah, let me just delete this one. I'm just trying to create a complex object to intersect here, nothing special. And then I can just draw line, can intersect here and then here, skip another line here to here, skip. Then I can select this line, this arc, and this line, and J for join, enter. Sorry, Control Z, Control Z. Select, say J for join, then select this line, this arc, and this line, enter. Yes, now it's treated as a single item like that. Then I can extrude it. So this one, say extrude to this direction, and stay there. Let's say shaded with edges. You see that? So this item I can give it let's say I give it another color. Let's say what color? All right. Say properties. Oh, it's not responsive. Okay. Okay, this is misbehaving. But let me try to intersect this. So let's say southwest isometric like that. I don't know why I cannot see the properties here. Okay, it's just misbehaving. All right. So let me do the intersection, and um this is where we will end up on solely editing. This is where we'll finalizing. I think the software is misbehaving, so we proceed further in the coming session. So click intersection, and then it says select objects. So this object and that object, then enter. Select. Oh, sorry, not subtract. So no. So it's intersection. So this object and that object enter. You see, that's our intersection. Okay. So that's our intersection that has been formed by intersecting our two features. So I hope you have captured that. You can delete the previous sketch that you had like that, and you will have your intersection geometry like that. So naweza ku control Z ndo uone kitu kilicho happen hapa. So control Z, control Z, control Z, control Z, control Z, control Z, like here. So you see an intersection ilichukua a part that these two parts are interfering. That's all. That's the only part that remained. Inamaanisha hii part ambayo hii kutokea hapa mpaka hapa ndo imeingiliana na a certain surface interior here of this object. That's what was trimmed out of the two components. That's the intersection. Okay? So yeah, so the shortcut command for intersection is I in in for intersect. Then you press enter. So shortcut command in for intersect. Then press enter. Then select the objects, this object and that object, and say enter. And there you have it. Voila. Right. So you can delete the previous sketch if it's of no use then. So you can select the sketch and say delete. And there you have your intersect. There you have your intersection of the two solid objects. So yeah, I hope you have enjoyed the lesson. Let me see if I can see the properties here. Okay, properties. Yeah, now I can see the properties. I think it has stopped misbehaving. So here's what I'll do. So let's proceed a little bit longer. So Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, undo, escape, Control Z. Yeah, let me give this one, let's say, what color? Let's say blue, let's say green, and the other one white, so that you can see them clearly now. Okay, so you see them differently like this. So if I say intersect, enter, select object, this one and that one, enter. So there you have it, right? So here is our intersection object. So I hope you have captured that. So Control A, delete everything here, and let's go back to the top view. And let's say here is a 2D wireframe. Yeah, so the other command here is called interfere. So it creates a temporary 3D solid from the interference between two sets of selected 3D objects. All right. So let's say we have this is where we'll finish up the interfere, and then we will proceed next time. So let's say we have a square like this, right? Let's go to southwest isometric. Let's extrude this by this much, and then let's draw a cycle, let's say here, and then click this, say extrude again this way, right? And let's say here shaded with edges, okay, and say interfere. So click interfere, so select the first object, this is the first object, right? Select the first object, and then select the second object, this one. So it shows temporarily where these two components interfere. So inachoonyesha kwenye hii interfere command ni kwamba hizi two components zimeinterfere exactly at what area. So this is the red one is where the two components are interfering. Okay? So that's the use of interfere command. Then you can close it. Okay? So yeah, I hope you have understood it. I hope you have captured a lot in this lesson, and I will see you on the next lesson. So keep practicing the commands, the editing commands, the union, the subtract, the interference, and the interfere. The intersect and the interfere. So okay, let me try to do the intersect for these two and see what happens. So let's say intersect this one and that one, and oh, so this is the intersect side, the intersect at a cylindrical part. Okay, so keep moving forward. You're on the right direction. I'll see you in the next lesson. Ciao.